did wrong to get the fine. So we'll see tomorrow why we got fined. And then who complained? It was a blowout, so I don't think the fans were complaining. And then and I thought the guys did what they were supposed to do. They're cheering on their guys. So we'll find out what the fine is. But it is what it is.
Jason, do you feel like your group in the second round got better as the series went on? And if so, like what ways? Like how are you playing better basketball now than you were earlier on in the playoffs?
I would say that they have gotten better, especially after game one, even though game two was that game got out of hand in the second half. But, the big thing is this group has always learned, from its losses and its wins. And they will always bounce back, especially after a bad loss. And so they're just playing better, I think, mentally and physically. They've grown up too. This is a young group, and so just understanding a lot of them haven't been in this position, but they are learning on the fly, and so I would say that we are getting better, and we're going to be tested, this evening in this series, just because the Warriors have been through this. They have. Steve is one of the top 15 coaches of all time. He understands, how to prepare and how to get his teams and make the adjustments. So this is a great test for us, but the guys are playing better.
Jason, as you go along in these playoffs, I mean, in theory, round by round, the pressure goes up and the likelihood of, being nervous or having butterflies or being tense is more likely. Do you see that at all out of your team? It's a game 7, and the practice before that looked like the lightest practice of the year.
You guys shouldn't have been in there for that practice. That's been practice all year. I think when you look at our group, we I don't know if we ever used the word pressure. I don't think that's in our vocabulary. We look at the challenge, and we understand what we have to do, and that doesn't mean we say that we always achieve what we want to do, but we learn from it, and it's work in progress. But this is a group that likes to have fun. They love to play the game of basketball, and they're learning how to embrace this stage. And so it's been a lot of fun. This journey's been a lot of fun, and we're learning each other. But I think the word pressure has never been brought up with this group, and I don't think it will ever be brought up.
Jason, you've been around the game for 28 years now as a player and a coach. There's so much been written and said about Luka. Who does Luka remind you of?
Yeah, that's Luka reminds me of Luka. He's one of a kind. I mean, there's, you can compare him to his shooting of Larry Bird, his smile of Magic, his playmaking ability of Magic, or a current player, LeBron. Just doesn't jump as high as LeBron. But when you talk about those greats, they all have one thing in common, and that's winning. And that's what he does. He finds a way to win. And so when you talk about those greats, hopefully at some point he will be right there with those guys, just not his ability to play basketball, but to have those championships.
Jason, one of the things that Dorian was saying yesterday was that Golden State doesn't call many plays. Kind of remind me, it's kind of sounded like he was talking about the 2011 Mavericks, but what kind of challenges that pose in terms of scouting and then also defending them?
Yeah, we've talked about this. They've been together. They have a unique system that works, for them at a very high level. They're very unselfish. They know how to play off of one another. There's constant movement. Steph and Clay will always be moving. Poole will be moving. And then you have their quarterback and Draymond Green, who is the one who kind of sets the table for those guys and finds those guys in rhythm. and then everybody says they do the hard part, but it's almost the easy part. They do the shooting. And so again, we have to be tied together, and understanding that this isn't just sit and look at someone in the post or sit and look at someone in a high pick and roll. There's a lot of movement, and one thing leads to another, and so we have to be cautious of that.
Jason, how are you different as a coach now than with the Nets and Bucks? What did you learn from those experiences that you think has made you better here with the Mavs?
Yeah, I think with the Nets, I was still a player. I just finished. I had no idea what coaching was all about, and so and I'm still learning what coaching is all about. But totally different situations. In Milwaukee, it was a franchise that was at the bottom, and we were trying to help build, something, and develop players. Totally different than we're, here in Dallas, when you have a megastar like Luka, who's playing at a high level, who's been a pro since he's 14 years old. And then the other guys, you're trying to help develop when you talk about Brunson, and Dorian, and these guys. And so it's been fun. But I learned a lot being an assistant coach with the Lakers and winning a championship there, which was pretty cool. And understanding under Frank, and learning from Frank a lot of great things that I didn't know as a coach. And so I borrowed those things and brought them here to Dallas.
Marquise Chris was a fan favorite here. And when you're looking for any little edge in a playoff series, do you turn to him for some insights about the tendencies of his old teammates?
Yeah, Marquise, he was here, and he did play well here. For us, it's whatever information we can get that can help us win, then we're going to use it. And hopefully, he's given us the right information.
Jason, the continuity the Warriors have now that they didn't have throughout the season, with Clay not coming back till January, and then Draymond being hurt and Steph being hurt. How much different of a look do they have? And Jordan Poole and Wiggins getting some more playoff experience, just a different look than what you saw last time you were here.
Yeah, everyone went through injuries and COVID, and but at the end of the day, when you talk about Draymond and Steph and Clay, they've won championships. They've been tested. They've seen it all, and so they are a different team. They're not just the third seed. This team has won championships. They've been down in series. And they're not a team that's not going to panic, and they're well coached and prepared. And so again, we got our hands full, and we're here to just try and make it tough and hopefully put ourselves in a position late in the fourth quarter to find a way to get a win.
Jason, how important is pace in a series like this?
We would like to play our pace, but the Warriors have a unique pace. They're gonna get out and put a lot of pressure on your defense in transition on makes and misses. And so we have to be cautious of that. We don't want this to be a track meet. We want to play our pace, and hopefully they'll join us, but we know that's not going to happen. They're going to force their pace. And so it'll be both teams fighting to see at what speed we're going to play tonight.
Just follow up on your earlier answer. What did you learn from Frank with the Lakers? Is there any example that you sort of took from there that has helped you in Dallas?
Just have fun. Just enjoy it. Let the players be players, and you can't control everything. And then the biggest thing is being a defensive-minded team. And that's what Frank is done at a very high level, not just in LA, but in Indiana and Orlando. And so, to be, at that point in my coaching career, we had I think we were number one in defense 2 years in a row, which is pretty cool. And I thought, if we could do it there, hopefully we could do it in Dallas. Unfortunately, we didn't get to number one, but we did improve. Thanks.